Say, bruh. Oh, here it is. Anti-dust function. That's what I was looking for. Holy smokes. I've had the Sony a7 IV for about 2 to 3 weeks now. I was very fortunate to get it before they all went out of stock. Released for the body only because everywhere has like the kit lens, but nobody wants the kit lens. So anyway, I've made videos in the past about owning the A7C, and it's still a really great camera. I think for personal stuff, I love it. I can't think of a better camera to have than that one for it being so small. But I still felt like it was lacking in pro video features, and that's why I wanted to pick up the Sony a7 IV, mainly for its 10-bit, because I mainly do video, so I needed something as a B cam to produce the same image that I was getting on the a7S III. And that's kind of the purpose of this video, is that I wanted to make the little things, like the little differences between the a7 IV and the a7S III. So this is kind of more aimed towards people who own the a7S III and you're looking for a B cam or a second camera for video work. Because on paper, it looks like the a7 IV would be the perfect camera, right? And that's what I thought, and I got it, and now that I have it, I'm starting to see the little things. It just wasn't as strong of a B cam as I thought it was. And when I say B cam, I mean that in the sense that, excuse me, I ate some chicken hot wings earlier. Golly. But I mean that in the sense that if my A cam was to go down, like if I had needed to send in for repair again, I wanted to have a second camera that I could rely on for video work. And there's just some stuff about it, man, that it's just, it's just still not there. So we're going to go over those reasons right now. So first one I have on the list is going to be screen quality. I'm just going to keep this quick. The screen quality on the a7S III, it's great. It makes you feel confident that you're shooting really good content. The colors look great. You just feel like you're nailing it. And it's all because of the screen. Now, I think when people say the screen sucks, they're more talking about the brightness, which I will agree. The brightness is really low. And when it's really bright, I can't even see the screen. So I have to either use a viewfinder or like a really bright monitor. This one, as far as brightness goes, is the same. So I'm not really complaining about that part. What I am complaining about is the color, and like, it doesn't look HD. It looks like you're looking at a little 720p monitor. And it doesn't make you feel good about what you're shooting. There's been times when I shot pictures of videos and I'm looking back and I'm like, oh, what did I not do right? Like, this does not look good. And it's just the monitor, because then when I put it in the computer, it looks great. It looks like I nailed everything. So I nailed it down to just the screen. The screen just looks fuzzy. You know, it looks like it's loading, like it's in 360p or something. I don't know, but that's the screen. If you're wondering what their difference is, it's clearly bad. You know, so just a heads up. All right, this next one's about the 3 focus features implemented in this camera, and that's focus mapping, autofocus assist, and peaking. I'm gonna start off with peaking first. Peaking, this is the first and only camera that I know of that when you turn peaking on, it stays on the entire time, even when you're in autofocus. I have no idea why. Like, I don't understand why that's, I can't even talk. I don't know why that's happening. Like, I want to be able to leave it on, and then it only shows up when I go into manual focus. Why it stays on the entire time, no idea, but it's there. So that sucks. Autofocus assist. I don't know how to use it. You know, I think it's intended for you to pull focus while you're in autofocus, and then it'll focus to the nearest thing that you pull to. To me, I haven't been able to use it correctly. And I noticed that autofocus continuously doesn't really work that well, if at all, because I'm thinking now that it only uses a continuous autofocus whenever you pull. It uses it to find focus in that area, and then it stops. It goes back into manual. At least I'm thinking that's how it works. I don't know, but I'm going to chalk that up to user error. All right, and then focus mapping. I don't think focus mapping is too helpful in video, because most people who use fast lenses, like a 1.4, 1.8, that little spot of focus is really tiny. So it's kind of distracting to see a whole bunch of blue and red and orange and like this much of a clear spot. I don't see how that's helpful in video. Maybe in photo it would have been cool to use. You can't use it in photo, but if you would have, it would have been cool to use for like landscapes, because those people use the aperture at like 5.6 f8, and you can see that's a big gap of what's in focus. But in video, if you're using a 1.4 lens, like that little bitty munch is going to be in focus. So, all right, these next 2 things are kind of like little nitpicks, so I'm going to group them together. One of them is, for some reason, you can't switch stabilization modes while you're recording. I can't really I'm scratching my head on why they can't, Because on the A7S III you can, like, sometimes whatever reason I go to like standard stabilization, I'm recording and I notice it's a little jiggly, so I think, okay, I'll just turn on active. I do it while I'm recording and I can see the crop in real time, and then boom, it cleans up. With this camera you can't. Like, I have it assigned to a button. When I try to change it from standard to active, it just doesn't give you that option. I have to stop the recording, change the stabilization mode, and then record again, which is a little annoying. The second is there's this new feature on the recent Sony cameras where you can turn a red ring around the screen to let you know you're recording. On the A7S III, it's like cherry red. It's like very bright red. I can see it. On this camera, it's like a scarlet deep red. So it's really hard to see, especially if you're outside. So if you're really looking at the corners, you can see it, but it's not as obvious as this camera. So those are, I wouldn't, it's just two little things. And that's why I titled it this way. It's the little things. It's these little things that either make something to make you think this is worth it, or that drive you to return it or say, hey, this isn't working out. So, it's the little things. Little things like this. It's just like, I don't know, man. It's just crazy. All right, now this is a big thing. This is not a little thing. This is one of the reasons why I can't tell myself to use this as a B cam, or like this would be, I would be okay if I only had to use this and not the A7S III. And this one is the rolling shutter. I can't do it, man. It's crazy bad. Okay, so here's why. It's a two-part thing. I'm not going to use the 4K 60 crop as a knock. Everybody knew about it. Everybody complained about it. I just learned to work around it, and it is what it is. However, it does play a huge part in the rolling shutter part, because whenever you're on a wide lens, you see the rolling shutter a lot less. Whenever you're on a very tight lens, like an 85 and up, it's very easy to see the jello. If you even move like the wrong way, you swivel a little bit too quick, it's like, man, it's jello city. Like, you're gonna see more jello than a line at Luby's. It's crazy bad. It's so bad that I don't even want to use this camera handheld for anything tighter than 50. It's bad, man. I didn't even bother getting a cage for it because no way I'm using this camera handheld. On the A7S III, man, I can't even notice it. The rolling shutter on this was so good. Like, I don't even worry about it. But on this one, I have to really watch how fast I move or how bad I move, because then in the image, it kind of looks like a bad version of warp stabilizer. Like, the corners are wiggling. Like, it almost like if it's like Canon stabilization. And it's just bad. It's a damn shame, man. It's really a damn shame that this sensor still has rolling shutter like that. Like, we're in 2022. Like, how is rolling shutter still it's whatever. And this is a full frame camera. I can see APS-C having rolling shutter. I get it. The readout thing, it's math. I don't understand. All right, and then this last one, this is actually a good thing about the camera. I want to end it on a good note. And this is really the reason why I titled this video the way I did. This is little things. This was such a little update that they made to the memory recall switch that made me kind of say, you know what? I love this camera, albeit everything I just said. Okay, so on the memory recall thing, every Sony camera I've had, it just they give you like a little menu that pops up that says, "Are you sure this is what you want?" Like, it shows you all the settings that this memory had. And all those cameras, I never really thought anything about it. They all had it. So, I would switch to it, hit the OK, and then I move on. This one, thank God, does not have it. Like, I switch from 3, 2, or 1, and it just switches real time here. Nothing pops up. Like, I can just keep going. And that was such a little update, such a little improvement, but it made the world of difference to me in my workflow whenever I'm filming. It makes me wish and hope that they're going to add that to this camera and that they keep it that way for future cameras. It's so useless when I switch for it to tell me what's in this screen, like what's in this setting. I know what's in this setting. And even if I didn't, let's say I don't, I still have to move it back. I still interrupted what I was doing. So what was the point of telling me what's there in this setting? Just switch the frame rate, just switch everything real time. And this one finally does it. And man, that's such a little thing that just makes me use this one a little bit more, because it's so fluid the way I can just switch from 4K 60, 4K 24. And on this one, it's just that little screen slows you down because you have to hit OK. And that little millisecond, just, I don't know, it's the little things that just makes a world of difference. So I really hope they add it to new ones, but that little feature just makes me really like this camera just for that, just for the switching the memory recalls. All right, so that was pretty much it. And I didn't really want to make it seem like I was bagging on this camera because nonetheless, I still like it, but I know its place. I like it as a B cam. I like it because I know that this one is my main one, and I know that this one has 10 bits, so it's just going to be sitting on sticks recording a second angle, and I know that I'm going to be able to match it. But if I knew that, if they said, hey, use this one, like maybe, I don't know, something happened with this one and I had to use this one, my workflow would change because, again, I can't do handheld. I do handheld quite a bit. I do mixed of gimbal and handheld. The 4K 60, that's such a drawback. It just it doesn't make me feel like I'd still be able to do the quality work that I'm accustomed to now with this camera. I would feel like, hey, I still need another A7S III or an FX3 to continue the way I've been doing it without a loss in quality and, a loss in my workflow or however I do things. But nonetheless, man, I still like it a lot. I think I really can't speak on the photography part. I know I've seen some people say that it's barely an upgrade to the A7 III. I don't know. I enjoy taking pictures with it, even though I can't tell the difference between this one and that one. And this one's got like 12 megapixels. So that's it, guys. I look at it and I think this had so much potential. So much potential. But again, I 4K 60 crop, cool. The other camera besides this that I think I've never had it, never seen it, but on paper just looks so amazing is the Panasonic S5. And that one has a 460 crop, so I get it. This one needed to have a 460 crop, cool. But the rolling shutter, that's just ridiculous, man. That's what disappointed me the most. But it is what it is. So that was it, man. That was my little comparison of the little things between the A7S III and the A7 IV. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I'll do my best to answer them. And as always, take care, and we'll see you guys later. I gotta come up with a better line than that. But for now, I guess that's what we use. See ya.